Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the B7c launch party. It's basically a couple things going on today. If you haven't tuned in for an after launch party yet, basically we live stream all of these. We take a lot of questions live too. So I've got my laptop right here. I am taking a look at the stream right now. I see Abu Ayub in here. I see Langston Ball, David Capoyos, Camden Mats. If you're watching this, let us know where you're tuning in from. We'll be able to answer a lot of these questions and field some of those. I've been seeing some questions in the groups this morning too, so it's good to see so many friendly faces. Good to see so many familiar people. We got Kit Kohler in here, Tim David, Liam Tan in here as well too. So we got good people in here, and we're going to be talking about a pretty exciting product coming out today, and that is this one right here. This is the Accent B7c. So before we jump into this real quick, I'm just going to say for all you people out there that are wondering what is the new product that we're talking about, this is really, in our opinion, the perfect cinema smart bulb for the actual broadcast media market. So let's talk about what that means in just a minute here. You're already kind of seeing one of the couple party tricks that it has off the bat, but without much further ado, again, let us know where you're tuning in from. We got David Mudre in here. We got people coming in from Atlanta. We got Isaiah here. We got Egypt here as well too. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's good to see you guys. Let's do this without much further ado. Let's start the launch film.
RGBWW. For years, Aputure stood for creative lighting. The kind that goes where you go to imagine what's next. But now we're ready to release something that is just a little more practical. Introducing the Accent B7c. The Accent B7c is the first light bulb designed for filmmakers. Boasting impeccable color fidelity, accurate skin tones, comprehensive app control, and absolutely zero flicker, the B7c pushes creative freedom out of the smart home and into the fast-paced world of on-set production. Matching even our most advanced RGB lights, the B7c is capable of producing an ultra-wide color temperature range of 2000 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin. And with impeccable color rendering, creatives no longer have to worry about lighting for accurate skin tones. For the first time, cinematographers now have access to a near-perfect spectral fingerprint that can be inserted into any standard E26 socket. With Source Match Mode, it has never been easier to match an existing light. Filmmakers can use the Sidus Link app to switch between any source type, from tungsten filament to even favorites like metal halide. And by utilizing Aputure's unique RGBWW technology, the Accent B7c also goes beyond just white light. As a color mixing fixture, filmmakers can use the light's HSI control to select any color imaginable, or even use the app's color picker function to capture a swatch from real life. As a fixture for film, speed and ease of use were critical in our design process. Featuring onboard buttons for both brightness and CCT control, in addition to the fully integrated app, the B7c is the first smart bulb on the market with flexible control methods and a simple 3-button interface that allows users to change brightness and color temperature without the use of a phone. Using an aluminum metal structure and a distinct toroidal diffusion design, the B7c spreads light in the most even way possible, while also maintaining absolute stealth on camera. And unlike consumer LEDs that flicker whenever dimmed or shot at higher frame rates, the B7c provides seamless dimming with zero color shift and zero flicker, even up to 1000 frames per second. The B7c is also the first light bulb that doesn't rely on house power. In AC mode, the light acts as any normal bulb would, and control is as simple as having your talent flip a light switch. In battery mode, however, the B7c is powered from within. Utilizing an internal rechargeable battery with over 70 minutes of runtime at full power, and over 20 hours at minimum brightness, the B7c brings an all-new level of flexibility to creative lighting and production design. Users can now place a light into any scene without having to wire circuits, locate electrical access, or place noisy generators. The built-in battery gives filmmakers the freedom to incorporate modern lighting design even in uncharted territories. Finally, beyond its onboard controls, the B7c features built-in Sidus mesh technology that allows users to control the light from any smartphone or tablet and unleash the B7c's true potential. In addition to fine-tuning CCT, brightness, color, and customizing up to 9 different lighting effects, like fire, cop car, and faulty bulb. With the swipe of a finger, the B7c brings full support to the Sidus Pro Effects feature set, including Magic Program. With Magic Program, filmmakers can create complex lighting sequences in tandem with all other Aputure fixtures like the MC and B7c. And since we know the difficulty of organizing bulbs on location, we designed the 8-light charging kit to innovate one of the most traditional spaces on set. Made for indie filmmakers, owner-operators, and rental houses, the 8-light charging kit allows you to simultaneously store, protect, and charge up to 8 B7c bulbs. So you'll have more than just enough lights to fill up your scene. You'll have a single plug to charge and bring them back to life. At Aputure, we are focused on bringing innovation to you, whether that means one person or a full studio crew. We know that creative lighting is about more than just output. It's the details. But now that we've reinvented the classics, we also know that it's time to bring out something new. Something tougher, brighter, an all-new class of fighter.
Alrighty. You guys have some hilarious comments. By the way, the whole team's here. Dad Rover here, of course. We got Checo behind this camera, so he's going to be operating for you guys. And then Brandon is behind there. And of course, Benny is running the show. So for everybody watching this as well, leave your comments. We are reading these. We're just cracking up watching the commercial, seeing you guys have your reaction. So let's do this. Let's talk real quick about the Accent B7c. We're going to walk through all the features. You have questions, leave them in the comments, of course. But I think we're going to do a pretty comprehensive review of this. Seems like a simple product. There's actually a lot of features in here that we need to go over. So let's do this. We got a little presentation here today. Let's kick it off. Okay, so this right here is the Accent B7c. And the first thing that we want to know is that, again, there's a lot of smart bulbs on the market, but what makes this market different is that this here is actually designed for filmmakers in the broadcast media industry. Specifically, this is designed for lighting technicians. We asked a lot of gaffers for feedback. We talked to a lot of ASC cinematographers as well. We got a tremendous amount of feedback, and that's because if you actually look at the actual light itself, you can see the design has changed in so many ways since the first time that we actually showed this last NAB. So again, we did show this off at the Super Secret Film Party over at NAB in 2019. This was originally just a prototype at the time. We got a tremendous amount of feedback from you guys. A lot of you guys messaged in on the group too. So all of that's been built into that today. And I think we can actually kind of go through and trace each of the features, where they came from, and why we think that they're so exciting for the actual film market. Also, I've been reading online a couple of the concerns that people have as well too. So I'm glad we can cover a little bit of that as well as doing comparisons versus a lot of the other smart bulbs on the market. So you're gonna be able to learn everything today. We can walk through all of this together. So just stay tuned for that. But let's do this without much further ado. Let's get to that first slide. So real quick overview of everything you need to know. If you only have a couple minutes, here's everything that you need to know on a kind of surface level basis. So this right here is a 7-watt RGBWW LED smart bulb. So again, 2 dual white chips actually kind of balancing out that color, filling out that spectrum. Number 2, this is a standard E26, E27 lamp socket. So that means that yes, you can plug this into basically any pendant, fish lamp, lantern, anything that you have, this will actually be able to plug in, no problem. This does have a built-in battery. So we're talking about 70 minutes at max power and over 20 hours at minimum power. So a tremendous amount of internal powering in here, which means that yes, you don't have to actually plug in, redo electrical circuits and things like that. Fully color tunable. So this is 2000 Kelvin all the way up to a whopping 10,000 Kelvin. Again, we are using the span of that RGBWW technology to maximize our color temperature range. Down here, we got CRI and TLCI scores of 95 or 96 or higher. And again, if you're out there and you're too good for CRI and TLCI, absolutely, we're right there with you too. Tungsten SSI score of 85 plus, so very, very high SSI score as well too. So your spectral similarity index, that same metric that's designed by the ASC, this is going to be checking all those boxes in terms of perfect color fidelity. Moving on from there, we got full RGB color tunability into here. So again, if I actually turn on and off my bulb, I can do that. I can change all of my colors. I do have full hue and saturation control here. So if you want to turn off that Nova for me, Brandon, real quick. Again, all of these bulbs here, if I max them out, hard to see on camera, they do have full color tunability here. And again, a lot of you guys are commenting on that toroidal diffusion design. You can see it actually looks perfect from basically any angle. So you're really not going to see the actual bulb here. And we'll talk a little bit more about this design in just a little bit. Okay, let's get those lights back on. We'll go back to that slide. So back on the slide here, we are talking about, as far as the actual color space that this is capable of actually covering, we're talking about being able to cover over 90% of the Rec 2020 color space. So that's really all of the colors that can be captured in a Rec 2020 color space. This is capable of reproducing 90% of them. So a tremendous amount of color space as far as what you can actually shoot on camera. This does have built-in lighting effects, so we're going to be talking about that. It does have Sidus Link compatibility. So if you don't know what Sidus Link is, we'll get to that in just a little bit. That's one of the things that I think makes this bulb one of the most exciting bulbs on the market. Moving on from there, we have a bulb here. This is the only bulb on the market that actually has built-in dimming control, color temperature presets built into the actual light. So you can change the brightness without having to go into an app. You do not need a wireless dongle or anything like that. You can control this entirely using Bluetooth SIG mesh. And we'll talk about what that technology means in a little bit, why it's so exciting. Moving on, right next up, we got Sidus Link compatibility, Bluetooth mesh control, meaning that yes, all of my lights are going to connect to each other. And then finally, moving on to the final things here, we do have two different power supply modes. Again, this does have a built-in battery, so you can see I'm turning it on and off. But if I am shooting a scene and I want this to act like a regular light bulb, I can do that as well too. Turning it onto AC power mode means that I can just have my actor come on, flip their light switch, and this will trigger and work just like a regular light bulb in that case. So again, a lot of different uses here, a lot of things built in. But before we break into the details of the photometrics and the color, I want to talk real quick about why do we need a cinema smart bulb? Why does this industry need this? And for a lot of you guys out there, especially lighting technicians, a lot of you 728 people out there, you guys are going to know the reason for this already, but I want to explain it for a lot of the indie owner operators as well. Why can't I just use a consumer smart bulb? Well, there's a couple main problems with consumer smart bulbs. They're great. The technology is fantastic. We're glad that it's out there. But the problem is, one, the color standards that come out of a lot of these RGB bulbs are just not good enough. If you want to learn a little more about that, we did a presentation with Quasar Science not too long ago, talking about kind of the problems with RGB, why you need to be able to have bulbs that are actually tuned for cameras and actually using LED chipsets that are actually going to work and balance out and give you the full spectrum of color. So when we're shooting things, visual arts, cinematography, lighting design, we need our quality of light to be the best it can possibly be. And in this case, we are using, again, RGBWW technology, same technology that's built into Kino flows, things like that, and our RGB Nova, if you've seen the panel all well. This is really kind of the industry standard as far as the best color science that we can get. Moving on. One of the big problems with a lot of consumer bulbs out there is they are smart home technology, which is great, but smart home technology means it was not designed to be on a set. So it's going to need two things. One, it is going to rely on a wireless router to be there. If you want to control a Philips Hue bulb, you're going to need a bridge, wireless router to be able to control all of your lights. And a lot of the time, I know a lot of you lighting technicians out there already have your actual kind of router setups that you bring onto set. But in those scenarios, which you don't want to bring a router onto set every single time, you need something that actually has direct control. So this right here is really the first smart bulb that has direct app control right now. It's fully released, and I can actually go through and change these colors fully, just connecting automatically via Bluetooth. And again, this is not standard Bluetooth. What we're talking about here is we're talking about Bluetooth mesh. So if you guys don't know real quick what Bluetooth mesh is, I'll do a real quick recap. Bluetooth mesh means that it is not the standard Bluetooth where you connect to your headphones. You're not doing a one-to-one connection, whereas Bluetooth can regularly connect to maybe 5, 7 tops devices. And it's a one-to-one connection each time from your phone to the device. SIGMesh is a new technology that actually just got released late last year. SIGMesh means that this is actually going to create a mesh network. So all of my bulbs are actually connecting to each other. This connects to the other bulb, it connects to my phone, it connects to all of those bulbs back there, creating a wireless network, which means that if my phone dies, I can just log back into the network and the network still exists. And likewise, each of these is actually acting as a signal amplifier, which means that I can actually go up to 400 meters. That's 4 football fields away. I can throw that signal and this will all connect and be able to connect in full tandem. So very secure connection here as well. Finally, Last thing to talk about is, again, smart home technology. This is probably the biggest one. I was talking to so many DPs about this. A lot of the smart home bulbs on the market right now, they will flicker as soon as they're in camera, especially when you dim them down at different frame rates. So one of the biggest things here is that this is a bulb that is 100% flicker free. You will not get flickering. We've already tested it up to 1,000 frames per second. No problem whatsoever. So color fidelity, flicker, no flicker. And as far as the app control goes, we have full compatibility here, direct app control that can be working automatically, very intuitive and easy to use. So those are the main three features. Let's jump into the color science and the photometrics. So let's get that slide up. All right. So now when we talk about the B7c, one of the big things that we are boasting, of course, is that the color fidelity is kind of unparalleled for a lot of the smart home bulb markets that are actually out there right now. So we're talking about RGBWW. So for a lot of you guys out there that are excited about the Aputure Nova, which was recently released, this is our RGBWW panel. If you haven't played with it yet, go play with it. We're really excited about it. Actually speaking, in terms of brightness, the Nova is, again, about 70% brighter than an S60. When we're talking about color fidelity, we are matching the Geminis and the Kino Flows out there, which do have a little bit better color science than the Sky panel. Again, of course, a lot older of a device, so we have to kind of make these names and comparisons. But what we're talking about here today is that the B7c actually has that same RGBWW technology built into this bulb. So what does that mean? Well, number one, let's talk about color temperature real quick. So when I go to this bulb, I'm going to turn this on for me real quick. I'm going to go to white settings in here. And when we talk about color science, first thing off is when we have an RGBWW light, that means that we have an ultra wide color temperature. I can go all the way down to 2000 Kelvin. So I'm down at 2000. I'm going to dim that for you guys so you can see it a little bit better on the screen. Maybe that'll help you kind of see it. You want to kill that Nova for me? Thank you. So we can go all the way down to a 2000 Kelvin light. So very warm. You get that kind of super warm Edison light here. If I want to go through, I can actually cycle all the way up to, as we said before, 10,000 Kelvin. So if you're getting for like a super cool CFL bulb or something like that, or maybe a neon LED screen, you can match all of those no matter where you are as well. Moving on from that, though, going to the slide, let's talk real quick about what that means as far as the color science. So again, 2000 to 10,000 range, you can match your warmest Edison bulb, but you can also match your kind of brightest, coolest daylight light on the market. Now, as far as color rendering, what does that mean? So again, CRI, TLCI, 95 or higher. TLCI, we're actually rating at about 96. So again, pretty much visually indiscernible as far as when you look at these things. This is going to be near perfect color. And then SSI, again, we are matching what does the exact spectrum look like coming from a tungsten source and a daylight source. And how well does this match up? We are looking at a tungsten score of 85 plus, which is really unheard of in a lot of ways, and also an SSI score of 74 plus. Again, for such a small bulb here, we are trying to pack in all the technology that we can to make this the ultimate cinema smart bulb in a lot of ways. So let's move on from there. Color fidelity is a big one. We've talked about this already. But when we're actually talking about the actual luminet, when we're actually talking about the actual photometrics coming out of this thing, I think one of the biggest questions that we get is how bright is this? So one of the things that we did on this actual design here is, again, it does have the built-in battery, but you've noticed that there are some changes in the actual design. And that's to be able to maximize the full amount of output out of this same design that we have. So again, we have control built into here. We have a built-in battery built into here. We have RGBWW, a LED chipset that's being able to produce higher color fidelity. We have all of that built in here. And in order to be able to get this as bright as possible, we are using a full passive cooling design here. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But for everybody out there wondering, that means that this pulls approximately 7 watts of power. And as far as the actual intensity of what this is doing, this is about the equivalent of about a 50-watt tungsten light. Now, that's going to be bright enough for a lot of scenarios, especially for a lot of practicals where you're just using it to motivate light. And again, everything that you saw in the commercial was shot using B7c bulbs. If you're looking for something brighter, we can talk about that in a little bit. Again, this is the first bulb in the series. Looks like we got a police car going by outside, but that's okay. Going live, this is what we do. If you want to talk about brighter bulbs, we do have something like that we can talk about this. The whole point of a series like this, the Accent line, is that this is meant to be a series of LEDs, a series of practical lights to be coming out. So I can't confirm or deny anything, but again, when I say it's a family name, you can expect other things like this coming out in the future, ideally. So, okay, moving on. So we talked about the brightness of this. We talked about the color fidelity of this. Let's talk about what are the main big features that come with this. So again, one of the biggest things comparing this to regular tungsten bulbs is, number one, we have stepless dimming. So when I put my finger here, I can dim this directly on board, and my entire bulb can actually dim up and down via my button control. Likewise, if I actually want to do this, I do this, and the entire time that I dim, I'm actually getting 0 color shift as well too. So a lot of you guys know out there when you dim a tungsten bulb, it'll usually get a little bit warmer in the actual design. Sometimes that's a fun thing. Sometimes that's creative. Sometimes you want your bulb to recreate that red. But at Aputure, we really believe that the control should be yours. Nothing should be happening unless you ask for it to happen. So if you want your bulb to dim up and down, I can dim this up and down. Let's say I'll pick a quick white light color. I'll say, let's go 32. I want to dim that up and down. I can dim this with 0 color shift whatsoever. It's going to stay the same. And if I really, at the end of the day, I want to add a little bit of red into this design, yeah, no problem. I can add a little bit of red. I can have it dim to whatever shape I want. So the control is really yours this time. You can be able to control it however you need in this design. So, okay, now that we've got the actual bulb here, we talked about that. Let's go real quick to the slide. Next up is the color shift. Again, 0 color shift, no problem. No matter where you dim it, you're gonna have no problems in this scenario. And then finally, of course, flicker free, as you saw in the frame. We were using traditional LED bulbs in that commercial. That flickering problem, being able to shoot with standard LED light bulbs, it seems like it should be the standard, right? It really should be the standard for everybody. But if you think about it, for smart home technology, the way that we're actually thinking about this is when we're in a home, the human eye is not seeing the flicker that comes from a regular smart home bulb. So there's really no need to innovate there. But cinematographers, lighting technicians, we demand more, we need more. So we need factory testing, we need actual design, and we actually need to have our engineers look at this. So again, this is using a 20 kilohertz refresh rate, which is actually gonna give you approximately flicker free, again, tested up to 1,000 frames per second. All right, cool. Moving on. Let's talk real quick about power options. So this one's really exciting to me because, again, the idea of this bulb really came from a lot of production designers and a lot of lighting technicians. We had a couple gaffers that were working on an Apple commercial that basically came up and they were talking to us about how one of the biggest problems when you're trying to recreate practical light or you're trying to light a scene is, how do I put this light in and how do I get a wall sconce or something like that without having to bring in the entire electrical team or draw power or be able to do these things? If I want to put a sconce literally on the wall, let's say I want to stick one right where that mirror is behind me, how do I do that? So the initial design of this was, how do we get a bulb, a lamp that can be used without needing to actually pull power? So again, this does have that built-in battery. And what that means, just to kind of stir the pot for creativity. At the end of the day, we just make tools, right? You guys are going to make things that are way cooler, way better. You guys are going to shoot all kinds of amazing things with these bulbs. We are just trying to stir the pot and be able to make it possible in the first place. So off the bat, what that means is I can do something like, I could take a lamp like this, I could take any of those lamps, I could cut the cable if I don't want to see the cable in shot, and now I have a light going all the time. Likewise, if I have a sconce or something like that on the wall, I can literally just drill the sconce into the wall, put the light in there, and automatically I have a wall sconce. I have practicals that I've added to the scene without having to damage the location. Or if I'm in a location that's totally off the grid, say I'm in Chernobyl, we were talking to a couple DPs there a while ago that were shooting something. How do I shoot something when I literally don't have power at all? And if I don't want to use generators or something like that, again, these are all options. And when we're talking about the power here, again, we're talking at approximately 70 minutes at max power, maxed out. If you go to minimum power and you're still going to get that glow at minimum power, we are talking about approximately 20 hours at minimum power. So all this is built in. This does have that built-in battery ready to go. And that does actually work into the actual design and build option. Now, beyond the built-in battery, there are other powering options. And I think the biggest question that people have is, how do I charge the battery? Well, if you want to charge the battery, that's pretty simple. We're going to talk real quick about AC and DC power modes. Number one, if I want to charge this battery, all I have to do is just plug it into a lamp socket just like this. Literally, as soon as I plug this in, this is automatically charging. And yes, this does charge while the bulb is on, which means that yes, if you have a lamp and you screw this in, I could literally take the plug, I could plug it in and charge my entire lamp. You're charging the light bulb, but you can charge the lamp, you can move it around and you can put it back into your scene and you can take it in and out. No problem, easy to go. As far as AC and DC power goes, if you don't want to rely on the actual battery power, you can do that as well. All I need to do is I come over here, I click all three buttons at the same time, and when I do that, it will light green. When it lights up green, all I need to do is that automatically says that I've now switched power mode. So now that I've switched power modes here, all I need to do is come over, turn it off, and when I turn it back on, I'm now going to be on full AC power. So this is now getting triggered via the power of the actual bulb. But if I unplug it, it will turn off automatically because again, this is now drawing the power from the actual source instead of actually relying on that built-in battery. Now, no matter what, when this is plugged in, this will pull power, this will charge, so you don't have to worry about clicking something or making sure it's there. And likewise, when I go to my app status link, you'll actually be able to see in the fixtures mode, you can actually see a full reading of how much time. It's kind of hard to see right there, but if you go to the side of each of those, you can actually see the amount of battery life remaining on every single one of your fixtures built in automatically right there. So everything is laid out here inside this link, but I will get to that in just a little bit when we talk about power modes. All right. We got some great questions coming in here. We got some excitement. Let's talk more about the next couple feature sets. So we've talked about AC/DC power. We've talked about how you can now trigger it via just power from the actual lamp versus actually powering it from the smart bulb inside. Now let's talk about build, because we have had so many conversations about the actual build for this light, and this is something that I'm really excited about. So the entire build and the design of this bulb was designed to do two things, right? Number one, we want to have the built-in battery. Number two, we want to actually be able to have built-in onboard controls. So again, if I want to be able to dim this up or down, I can change that. And then number three, again, we want to maximize brightness. How do we maximize brightness while still keeping the features that were directly asked from us from lighting technicians? So the way that we had to do this is we had to do this using our toroidal diffusion design. And toroidal diffusion basically just means kind of a bar that wraps around something. So if you're having trouble pronouncing that, Scott Balcom, I see you there in the comments. Toroidal diffusion is how you're going to pronounce that. Or you can say bunt cake if you want. I don't know. But what's cool about this design is this is going to do a couple things. It's going to maximize the brightness by maximizing the heat flow. So this is actually, again, totally passively cooled. There's no fans or anything like that in the actual design, which means that you're not going to hear this thing ever. Of course, we don't want your lights and your fixtures to be making noise if you're trying to record sound. So no fans built into the design, totally passively cooled. It's going to use two ways of cooling itself. Number one, this aluminum chassis is not only just a chassis for the actual light, but this is actually going to act as a heatsink for the light. So again, it doesn't get particularly hot. It does get hot if you leave it on for a very long time, but again, not so hot that, you know, you guys are used to tungsten lights and practicals and things like that. Number two, as far as the toroidal diffusion goes, this is actually going to add a little bit more heat flow onto the top. And what's cool about something like this is when I put it on camera, again, really, no matter what angle I go at, you're not going to see the actual toroidal diffusion design. So again, very clean looking practical, no matter what angle I go at it for. And then likewise, this is maximizing brightness again, because most of the time you're going to keep these in lampshades. And again, at the end of the day, when you compare this to a lot of LED smart bulbs that are on the market, there's nothing that really looks entirely like an Edison bulb, especially like the clear ones. So again, this is something that can be seen on camera, but again, the design for this is really supposed to be in the lampshade and to maximize that brightness and functionality. Okay, so the last thing to mention here is, again, we've got the toroidal design on the top, we've got the actual aluminum chassis on the middle, and then on the bottom here, that is that standard E26, E27 socket. So pretty much most places that you are in the world, you should be familiar with this lamp socket. It's your standard Philips or Cree light bulb socket that you're going to plug in. Again, if you're using a bayonet mount, we don't have anything for that yet. I don't think anybody does, but that is something that, of course, we can look at. And as you guys know, we love hearing feedback at Aputure, so just let us know. Okay, I think that's it for our actual build and design here. Let's check the slide real quick. Great, moving on to interface and controls. Okay, what's cool about this is we have a couple of ways to control this. So number one, this is something that is not on any other smart bulb. And guys, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen gaffers and techs kind of fiddling with controls on set, or literally you just need to dim your light a little bit up or a little bit down. How do I actually change that? So let me go to my B7c real quick. I'm going to trigger this onto a 3200 Kelvin light. Actually, let's take it down to 2000 Kelvin. If I want to change my intensity, I don't have to rely on the app. I don't have to rely on a wireless dongle. I don't have to log into anything. Literally, we want to do a multiple way version of actually being able to control this light. And that's really important for a couple of reasons, because I know on set, a lot of the time, you don't have time to set up the one way to be able to change all the effect that you want. And I think especially for a lot of people that are doing a lot of set design, things like that, you know that a lot of the time filmmaking is fast. Directors are going to change their mind. You need to be able to change your set, change your lighting as quickly as possible. Or maybe you're the director and you need to also be able to change your set and change your design as quickly as possible. So in that scenario, if I want to go in, I can automatically brighten this up just by pressing the plus button. You can hold it down, it'll do kind of a speed change. I can hold the down button, and of course this will dim itself, and you can see the light's automatically dimming there in real time. And likewise, if I want to go through and I say, hey, this color temperature is great, do I have to go into the app to change my color temperature? And the answer for that is no. All you have to do is double click the power button, and you've actually got built-in presets. So we started off with 2000 Kelvin. I double clicked, we jumped to 2700 Kelvin. I'm going to double click. Now we're going to jump to 3200 Kelvin. Double click, we're going to 4300 Kelvin. Double click, we're going all the way up to 5500 Kelvin. And then one more click, and that's going to take us to 6500 Kelvin. So again, all of this is pre-built into the bulb. You don't need to open up an app. You don't need to do anything like that if you're doing a run and gun shoot, or if you're just on set and you need to make a quick adjustment. You don't have to ask your console programmer. You don't have to get all the way into the app and go through all the menus and change everything. Everything can be changed here automatically. And there are more settings that can be changed as well. You can also get things like a battery read, for example. If you click the plus and minus button, this will actually tell you how much battery is remaining on the actual bulb itself too. Okay, so this is method number one, hard controls. And this sounds like a no-brainer, but believe me, this is something that has not existed on the market. So we are really excited about it. Number two, if you want to get really fancy with the control here, again, we are talking real quick about Sidus Link app control. So Sidus Link, again, amazing company. They spun off of Aputure, and what they're doing is they are making this app full design, smart technology, smart set technology that can be built and used for all technicians on set. So a couple of options and a couple of features that this is going to be able to give us. But for people out there that are wondering, it does seem very possible in the future that Sidus is going to be working with other fixtures on sets, so other brands and things like that. So we are very excited about that as well, but can't talk too much about that. Let's talk real quick about what Sidus allows us to do, though. First of all, when I go through here, I'm going to bring this app over here. Maybe you can see it in the shot. Let's see if you can get that. Okay. So a couple things here. Automatically, I've got my full HSI control here. Very easy to be able to fine tune that in wherever I need to go. If I go over here onto the side, on the bottom here, I got my fixtures. I've already labeled all my fixtures, as you said before. And again, you can read either if it's in AC power or in battery mode. So I'm going to click right here to B7c. And now I'm controlling my B7c. I can change that color. Or if I go to fixtures and I just hop on over here to table lamp, all I can do is hop on here. Now I'm in table lamp, and you can see the table lamp is now changing in brightness. So let me do that, and I'll change that. So super, super fast, intuitive design, very easy to be able to go through all this stuff. Likewise, though, there are way more features in here. So we just talked about HSI. There is white light mode. So again, I can change my intensities here. I can switch between different presets of color temperature here. And I can do, of course, full fine tuning control as far as how I actually go and press this app. So again, everything changes here as I go through. Now, there are a couple more advanced features in here, but let's talk about the basic ones first. First, I got source type here. So if I'm trying to match a source type, which again, most of the time you're going to be trying to do because these are practical bulbs, unless you're shooting some music video or something like that. Right here, we've got a lot of different presets already built in. We've got things like horizon daylight, we've got day white, we've got metal halide, we've got overcast sky, blue sky. This is actually going to be able to go through, and all those presets are pre-built in, and you can see the light is changing as I go through these different options. So I think a favorite of mine, here's HMI 6000, here's HMI 5600. Here's a good one, high pressure sodium lamp. I love the color of this one. This is kind of a very narrative design. Love this one. And then of course I'm using this with my little teal light here. You've got kind of that little blue and teal thing right there. Totally by accident. We're playing through here. We're running through. Okay, moving on from our actual source types though, I also have source match. So what's cool about source match is this means that I can actually go use my smartphone and I'll actually be able to take a picture, scan an actual existing light source, and this light will automatically match it. So for example, lighting techs out there, you can see I've already got an edge light right here. This is an edge light that's already bounced to, this is approximately 6,000 Kelvin. This right here is my bulb. This is about 2,000 Kelvin. So all I have to do is take this app. It looks like this. And I'm not going to scan my face because that wouldn't make any sense. But if I turn, let's see. Oh, you see that? You see that light right there? That is my backlight. So I'm going to scan my backlight. And in real time, after I scan this backlight, ta-da, automatically, now my bulb matches the actual same amount and same quality of light that's actually coming out of here. So again, we've matched color temperatures. Now we've matched color, good to go. Beyond just source match though, we can't leave it there. We got to have a little more fun. So this right here is color picker mode. So color picker mode is one of the things that we talked about here as well. What that means is I can use that same thing. I can actually scan a color in real time and I can actually pull it in. So let's say, actually that's a pretty nice and saturated blue there, isn't it? Well, I don't know, actually, I might go orange. Let's go for that red over here. I'm gonna grab that red off of the backdrop. And in real time, just like that, again, here is that red now on the bulb. So you can scan and choose any color. You can save any color. You can send them as presets. And again, we're looking kind of moody here. So if we can get that light back up. Thanks, Brando. All right, cool. So color picker mode, again, this is all a free app that is automatically available to download. You can use this right away. Again, Sidus Link is absolutely amazing. We haven't even started jumping into all the pro features here. So all this can be done fully compatible with the Accent B7c. This entire ecosystem works with all the lights here. So I can have my Novas here. I can have my 120Ds or my 300Ds. Everything is powerable via the same app. And again, it does seem very likely that Sidus is going to be coming to other brands as well too. And again, this is all using that mesh technology, which means that really, the more fixtures that you have, the stronger the network gets, the longer reach the network has. And as far as the actual security of leaving all of your lights connected, each light powers the network and kind of works as a crew. Okay, got it. So now we've talked about color picking mode. Let's go to the other functions here. So Sidus Pro effects, again, very, very exciting stuff here. So off the bat, there are a lot of things you can do. There are built-in effects automatically ready to go via the Sidus Link app, but there's a couple additional pro features that are already built in native to the B7c. So on the top left there, you got Magic Program. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, and I had some questions this morning about that as well too. This is really timeline node style editing, and you can actually be able to edit it. As you can see, it's almost like a beat pad mixed with a kind of NLE timeline editor, and you can actually do full programmable lighting effects directly from your phone and directly from your iPad, because we already have that version there. Manual effects. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but there's already built-in effects, or you can build and make your own customizable effects that you can save and send to others. There's something like over 1 billion different combinations that you can do with manual effects, so it's super cool there. And then finally below there, we have picker effects, which means, yes, just like how I scanned and took a real color from real life, you can actually scan an animation. You can scan a lighting change, like say a sunset or a TV or a fire flicker. You can record that, and you can choose which attributes you want to record, whether that is your intensity or your saturation or your hue, and you can record all those and actually replay them through your lights. So you can see right there, we are recording kind of a flickering screen. We've done a demo on this before too, so if you want to learn more about that, there will be more Sidus training materials coming out. But for the meanwhile, for the people that already know about it, that's what you should already know as well, is that this is already built into the B7c. So let's show that real quick. I'm over here. I am built into my Sidus Link app. I got this bulb right here, and I'm just going to show you guys real quick a couple of simple features. There you go. We got cop color, pretty standard, really easy stuff there. Say, my cop car to be blue or red and blue. I can change it like that. Automatically, I'm not red and blue. Let's say I'm in Portugal or something like that, and it's blue and white. I think Brazil is also blue and white too. So I can change all of that seamlessly via this app control here. And I can actually have it alternate between multiple fixtures too. So when I do cop car, one will go red, one will go blue. One will go red, one will go blue. And if I want to do something like that, again, I got fire, I've got pulsing, I've got television, I've got lightning. All this is already built into the actual light and ready to go. Again, if I want to get a little bit more complicated though, I do have Magic Program. So let's go to the wide real quick here. Here's a bulb real quick. You see those 4 fixtures in the back? So all of these are actually Accent B7c bulbs. So what we can do is we can do a little sequence here for you guys. I feel like a soccer league coach. You ready, guys? Let's do this. Here's our effect. And I can do really kind of programmable effects. So this is really just a simple RGB color chase. Let me turn this light on for us. I think this one's on power mode. Trigger that on. Let's get a little loop here. And there we go. Now we've got a little RGB chase. Hey, Brando, you want to kill that light just so we can show it a little bit better? Here we go. And I think right now the bulbs that I have on the front are at like 3 or 4% intensity. So I'm just trying to get this exposure right on camera so you can actually see what's going on here. So here's a quick little RGB chase. I'll put that to cycle so we can do that and repeat that through. And just to show how easy this is, you can see it right here, actually. You can go on the design, we'll pop over here, check out that screen. Here's our screen real quick, and all you have to do is you can actually see this kind of NLE timeline editor here on the bottom. And this is going to show us our different light fixtures and how they're animating in real time. So let's try something different. I'm going to do one more demo for you guys. Maybe we can make it 2. I'll do one live, actually, just for fun. Let's say we want to do, this is an RGB bulb, or maybe you guys can leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to program really quickly. I'm going to do one that is, let's say, red on the outside, green on the second on the inside, and then blue on the inside. We're going to have them kind of coordinate. So we're going to show 2 things, controlling them via groups, but we're also going to show different RGB colors. So let's try that. I'm going to go through, program that in real quick. Here's our 1, here's our 2, here's our 3. And now when I press this, here we go, red, green, blue. And let's try that again, red, green, blue. All these will be able to work. And again, you can see on the actual app, how do they all trigger at the same time? There's that trigger in terms of how we are programming them to work. So again, very seamless, easy, intuitive control. Again, it does take a little bit of work to be able to learn this, but again, the fact that you can do this entirely via the app, via an iPad or a phone that is free, built in, ready to go, is something that we're really proud of and really excited about. So let's get that light back on so I can quit sitting here in the dark trying to get exposure for this. Okay. That is Magic Program. Again, so you have full Sidus control. If you want to do HSI, color effects, and things like that, you can do that all via the apps. If you want to do simple design, simple controls, again, this does have built-in onboard controls, so you can edit and change those things on the fly. And again, you don't even need power on the actual bulb. You can actually fly with these bulbs entirely wirelessly because, again, full built-in battery, doesn't need that. So, all right, moving on. So I think one of the big things out here that people want to see is they want to see a sheet like this. And if you want to see more comparisons between us and the Philips Hue or us and a lot of the other competitor bulbs that are out there, just let us know, send us a message. We can answer some more questions there, no problem as well. But for the meanwhile, again, I know that we're probably pretty biased on this, but here are all the key features and all the key things that gaffers asked us for that we want to show you guys that we were able to build into this single bulb. So number one, we're talking about this bulb being flicker free. Again, entirely flicker free. You will not see a flicker from the B7C. You do not need an external module. Again, with the Hue, you're going to need the bridge. You're going to need a wireless router to be able to control all these bulbs at the same time. You're not going to need something like that. Again, the Hue does have kind of direct app control, but it's very, very limited as far as the feature set goes. So this does allow you to create scenes and create effects and all of those, so they're all going to be built in. Bluetooth app control, again, direct app control built in automatically to the Accent B7c, does not require anything outside. Color picker mode, source match, which we just showed you guys. Built-in battery does not actually require power to be pulling direct from the actual thing, but if it is pulling power from the source, again, it's a good thing. It's going to charge the battery while it's running. Onboard intensity and CCT control, again, you can change this using the actual buttons on the design. You don't have to hop into the app every single time to be able to change in this light. And then finally, of course, at the end here is something we haven't talked that much about. We have the multi-light kits available and also charging kits available as well too. So what does that mean? Let's get to it. 8-light charging kit. This real quick is not available today. And I think a lot of people are probably asking for this right now. And for you guys out there, we are allowing pre-orders available now. Go check with your local dealer. You can check on the Aputure website as well too. Pre-orders are available starting today. What this is actually a full hard shell kit designed by Aputure, where actually all 8 bulbs will actually be able to plug in at the same time. And with a single AC power cable, I can actually plug in this and charge all the actual bulbs at the same time. Now, when I'm plugging into this actual power socket, I can charge all of my bulbs in approximately 2 hours, which is super, super fast as far as the actual design goes. But again, for a lot of you guys out there, especially kind of the weekend warriors or you on-set people or you rental houses out there, what this means is you have a single cable to plug it in. You have an entire kit you can check, and you don't have to worry about renting out bulbs one at a time for this kind of thing. So this is available, pre-orders starting today. As far as the expectancy date for when we plan for this to be arriving, it should be, we expect approximately early January for 2021. We're pushing as fast as we can. Again, so we don't have a confirmed date for that. We do not have a confirmed date for that. I want to be very clear for that, but we are pushing to release this as quickly as possible. So if you're interested in placing those pre-orders, you can find those. They're $6.99 for the entire kit, and then it varies a little bit depending on where you are in the world. Okay, I think we are on to our last slide, and that is what is the price point of the Accent B7c. We are setting it at 70 USD. I think we had a bunch of people, I see a lot of comments coming in here today asking about the price point that we were talking about. Again, we did talk about this product approximately a year ago when we first started working on it. We're happy to finally be delivering in the actual price point that we were trying to be able to set it for. So again, 70 USD off the bat, ready to go. And then of course the 8-light charging kit is available for $6.99. And this is also available for pre-order today. So the bulbs solo available today, ready to go. They should be at your local dealer right now. And then number 2 is going to be the 8-light charging kit. That by itself is just available for pre-order today. So go talk to your local dealer for that, or you can go check the Aputure website for that. All right. I think that's everything. Brenda, how are we doing? Anything else? I think that's everything. I got my little notepad here. I was trying to make sure I remembered everything for you guys. But yeah, let's field some questions. Wow, look at that. We went for a good hour. I love it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear some questions.
Obvious questions like,
Okay.
8-light have to be available. We already answered that, but
Okay.
have those?
So number 1 question is, when will the 8-light charging kit be available? So basically, kits and cases should be available at the same time, which means that yes, if you buy a bunch of single bulbs, you will be able to buy an empty case at the same time that the kits come out. This is something that we're really trying to do post the Nova. Likewise, we expect, again, don't hold us to this, it should be the beginning of 2021. I don't want to confirm that though, because again, it's product design, it takes time, and our team's working super hard on this stuff, but we can't guarantee everything. Second question I heard there was DMX operatable. So this one right here, the B7c, is not DMX operatable. This is actually going to be requiring to use that Bluetooth mesh protocol. There is, I don't want to go too far into that, but there is a possibility that mesh will be able to work with DMX someday, but that's not confirmed, so I don't want to go there yet. However, in the future too, is something that we've also talked about as well. Looks like Brandon's pulled up the screen there. One of the things that we talked about in the future was the ability of doing a B15C or something a little bit bigger than that. So there will be, as something that we're working on, a brighter version of the actual B7C. And we're looking at something that's approximately going to be built in, a little bit brighter, and it's going to be built-in wireless DMX. So it's not going to have the battery. We're going to go full wireless DMX, and it's going to be twice as bright as well too. So that should be really, in a lot of ways, the brightest smart bulb on the market. So regardless of whether you need convenience of use, additional features, or the brightest bulb on the market, these are two things that we definitely have on the radar. If you're asking for availability of that bulb, I don't have anything like that yet. It's something that we're still just talking about. But if you have feedback on that, just let us know. It's always something that we want to hear. Okay, cool. Next question. Excellent question. So when we're talking about kind of 0.3 meters away, we're looking at approximately 570 lumens at max brightness. And that's something about, I think it's about a 6,500 Kelvin for the actual intensity. Again, brightness does kind of go up and down depending on where I am as far as the HSI mode that I'm in. But again, 570 lumens at max brightness. And again, we're talking about the equivalent of a 50-watt household bulb. All right.
For Ted Mansell,
Yeah.
is this leaving a house lamp all the time?
Yeah.
We actually use them in our house.
Yeah, man. The question is this something that I can leave in my household bulbs all the time? It's funny, actually. I've talked to a number of like really big name gamers that have pulled smart home bulbs from their own houses when they need an extra one or two. Yes, you can absolutely leave this in your household, no problem. Again, this is really designed for set use. This is designed for visual arts. This is designed for people where image quality and color quality is super important. Honestly, I'm not going to be the type person to tell you that you can't just use a Philips Home for your own house. Again, if you want to use these, that's fine. But again, at the end of the day, the things that the smart home bulbs do well are things that really won't be seen by the human eye, especially the flickering stuff. This is designed to solve the problems that go beyond the human eye, that go for the camera, for image quality, for theatrical release. So, all right.
Is there a timetable for Sidus Pro Effects for iPad?
Yeah, question is there a timetable for Sidus Pro Effects for the iPad? So if you haven't tried using Sidus Link on the iPad yet, it's beautiful. It has the beautiful new design display. All of your lights are there. I'll show you real quick that you have something here called console mode. If you haven't seen this already, if you can switch that camera for me, Brando. Console mode is beautiful. You can see this over here. I can actually go through and change all of my lights, and I have all of my intensities here. I can switch between color, temperature, and intensity, and I can even do all of my fixtures to turn them on and off just like this. So super, super cool stuff here. When you go into the iPad version, it's even easier. It's like bars and actually just literally levels that you can be able to program in. We've talked about that before, but again, for people out there that are wondering when does Sidus Pro Effects come to the iPad, we are looking at approximately October. So coming up very soon. I know we are very close to October now, so hang tight. We are working on it as far as we can. So, all right.
Can use 9 accounts that only through Sidus Link?
Yes. So basically, you're talking about the effects. The question is, 9 effects, can they only be used via Sidus Link? That is correct. If you want to be able to turn on the effects, you are going to have to go through Sidus Link. It is pretty darn quick. So all I have to do, I'll show you real quick. I'm here. I got my B7C. I'm going to turn that on. I go to effects on the top right there. And then all of my effects are right here. So there's my fireworks effect. That's a white light fireworks effect. Let's say paparazzi is all here as well too. So again, pretty easy stuff here. If you want to do manual effects, again, all of these can be kind of custom tuned to make sure that they're just your effect and that they aren't recognizable for anybody else. So here's that cop car again, all built in, ready to go. Okay, next question. Available any rental houses? That is a great question. Okay, so absolutely, yes. There are a lot of rental houses that these are already available to rent at. And already we've made a point to make sure that they're in a lot of rental houses kind of across the country. So no matter what city you're in, you should be able to find them pretty close to you. What I'm going to do is I see Robert Magnus, who's our sales director for Cinema and Rentals. He is already in the chat right now. He's chatting to people. So if you have a city location that you're trying to rent in, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put him out a little bit here. Tag Robert Magnus on there, and he'll be able to hook you up with a local city nearby. I know Lightbulb already in New York already has them. On the Mark over here in Los Angeles has them. There are a number of rental houses that already have them. And there's basically in any cinema shop you can go into, there should already be demos that you can check out and play with. So if your rental house doesn't have them, give them a call, check them out, tell them to call us. And again, we can try to figure out and make something happen. So, okay. Hey, Pedro. Yeah. So the question is, what is the LED lifespan of the LEDs for the bulb? That's a great question. So basically, just like a lot of smart home bulbs, you're not going to have to worry about this thing. We are talking about approximately 50,000 plus hours of this thing being on. So you're really not going to have to worry too much about replacing this thing. And at the end of the day, again, depending on what market you're on, if you're in the consumer market or you're in the indie owner operator market, I don't see any real reason why you need to replace these ever. As if you're in the higher end market, again, something like this, $70, that's going to be treated like an expendable, not a problem. You should be able to replace these as you need them, whenever you need them. So again, all working in one ecosystem too. All right. Let me see, we got any other questions here? Shout out to Light Bulb Grip and Candlelight and Grip and NYC. Shout out, absolutely. Shout out to On the Mark in Los Angeles. Let's see, we got Christopher Lee Harold. We got Camden Mounts. All right. Good people in this chat. Okay, sounds good. So I think that covers just about everything. If you have any questions about the bulbs, please let us know in the comments. Oh, one more question. Let's do it. The question is, if I buy bulbs now, will I be able to buy the empty charging case later? The answer to that is absolutely yes. You will be able to buy an empty charging case by itself later. So for people out there that, because I know a lot of you guys out there are going to want to be able to use this with the 8-light charging kit. For you people out there, you can buy 8 bulbs now. They each do kind of come with their own little sleeve that actually packs them. So it's really not that different in a lot of ways for a lot of you people out there that already use, milk crates full of light bulbs and things like that. We already include kind of a soft, it looks like a lens case basically, that goes for each one of these bulbs. However, as far as the actual cases and kits go, again, you will be able to buy the bulbs and then get the full hard shell kit later. So no problems there. All right. I like this. We got some funny questions here. Barry Chung's in the chat.
Is 110 to 240?
The answer for that is yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, say it one more time. Question is it compatible with all voltages? The answer is yes. Yes, absolutely. You can plug this in, no problems. So this is designed to be kind of a global bulb, travelable bulb. No matter where you go, it should work. So, all right, guys. I think I'm going to close it up there. If you want to rewatch the commercial or the launch film or anything like that, just leave it online. You can find them on the Aputure channel. No matter where you're tuning in from, by the way, thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're watching from. This is the Accent B7c. We are super excited to see all the amazing stuff that you guys do with it. And of course, we will catch you guys next time. Thanks so much, guys.